Hi, in this video we're going to combine using some JavaScript and the expression builder. So we're going to use some JavaScript in order to be able to set the date, which is quite a common requirement, and we're also going to use a regex expression to be able to validate the email address on our form. So let's jump into our Lightning Forms application, and we're going to go in and edit the new form ASPX. So far we've already set some field values such as the purchase order number when we submit for approval. We've also got some other expressions which are setting things like the subtotal and the grand total on our form as well from the sublist. And what we're going to do now is just add to that a little bit more using some expressions and the expression builder, but this time we use some JavaScript. So where we're going to jump to first is the date. So here on the date field, what we want to do to save the current user from or the user filling out the form to be able to enter the date, we're going to just set an initial value for that date as well. So we've not seen the initial value just yet, so let's click into it, and in here we're going to this time jump into function. And so under function, I'm just going to simply paste in the function to return today's date. So there's all sorts of date functions which are going to be included inside this document that you might want to use. So things like setting 30 days to the date and that sort of thing, but we just want to calculate today's date. And remember that you can always test the results. So notice here it's returning the date and the time in British summertime. So that works, and what we can do is just click into OK, and that will now be the default value set to the date field on my form. All right, so the next thing we want to do is check that a valid email has been set. Now, inside this vendor email, we've already calculated the current user's email address, but what we could do is if ever that changes, then what we want to do is just validate to make sure that it is a real email and not just a badly formatted email address. So we're going to use the validation rule for this. So we're going to go into the expression builder, and again using function, what we're going to do is drop in a function, and of course we want to make sure that this is checking the right field. So this is the code that is on our website, but our field is not called email, it's called vendor email. So notice that that's here. So what we're going to do is just change this to read vendor email, and here it is. So we can just select that, and I'll copy paste that from the helper just down here. There we go, and we've got a couple too many square brackets. There we go. So that's going to just check whether the email entered into that field is valid or not. And what we can do with that is also add some validation text. So we could use the expression builder to build something that is concatenated from different fields, or just simply use the template to write a message. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put the email address entered is invalid. Okay, now of course this isn't the only place where you could do some validation. You could do that behind the button as well, or using a condition and a message, or we could also use conditional formatting as well if you still want the form to be able to be saved but just warn the user that something's not quite right, or both. So that's a couple of examples of using those expressions inside our form. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks.